It's another bombshell from Hindenburg, the American short seller. First, they targeted the Adani group. Now they're going after the Indian regulator. I'm talking about SEBI, the Securities and Exchange Board of India. Now, SEBI is basically India's market watchdog. It is supposed to protect Indian investors. But its chairperson is accused of doing the opposite, of hiding alleged vested interests. I know this is a complicated story, so let's break it down into different parts. Part 1. Who are the players? Hindenburg is a market research company in the US. Their playbook is quite simple. Dig into big companies or business leaders. Find out their corporate malpractices. Short sell their shares, meaning make bets on their shares to fall. That's what Hindenburg does. It exposes malpractices and makes money out of it. That is their strategy in a nutshell, and that's what they're trying to do here as well. On the other side is Madhabi Buch. She is the current chairperson of SEBI, India's market regulator. Madhabi Buch holds an MBA degree from IIM Ahmedabad. She spent most of her career at ICICI Bank. In the last decade, she had a brief stint in Singapore as well. Then in 2017, she joined SEBI. She became a full-time member of the regulator. And in 2022, she was elevated to the post of chairperson. Now, this is very consequential. A, SEBI had never had a female boss. And B, Buch was not a career bureaucrat, so her appointment did make headlines. Which brings us to the second part of our story. What is Hindenburg's smoking gun against her? Well, at the center of it is a fund. It's called IPE Plus. That's what the fund is called. This fund is based in Mauritius, which is a tax haven. And Hindenburg claims that Madhabi Buch and her husband invested money in it. How much money? Around $870,000, which is less than 7 crore rupees. They invested this money in 2015. 2 years later, Buch was set to join SEBI. So the ownership structure was changed. Her husband wrote to the fund in Mauritius. He wanted sole control of the stake. So Madhabi Buch was out, no more joint business. The husband alone would handle and operate the account. And the SEBI chief has admitted this much. She says the fund was managed by her husband's friend. And that's why they invested. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is investing in an overseas fund problematic? It's shady, maybe, but is it illegal? Well, that's the third part of our story. The fund in Mauritius is allegedly linked to the Adanis. That's what Hindenburg says. It says that Adani used this fund to invest in Indian markets, to manipulate stock prices. Now, let's try to join the dots. The SEBI chief had invested in an overseas fund. Hindenburg says Adani used the same fund, and the same SEBI chief is investigating the Adanis. If true, this is a classic conflict of interest. Look at Hindenburg's conclusion. I'm quoting from what they've said. We suspect SEBI's unwillingness to take meaningful action against suspect offshore shareholders in the Adani group may stem from Chairperson Madhabi Buch's complicity in using the exact same funds used by Vinod Adani. Let me simplify that statement for you. This is what Hindenburg is saying. SEBI is going easy on Adani. Why? Because the SEBI chief used the same fund as the Adani group. That is the charge. Now, Madhabi Buch has denied all of this. She says that she exited the overseas fund in 2018. But a few questions still remain, like, did she disclose this investment to the government? Her statement is silent on that. But let's assume she did. Even then, why wasn't the public informed? You have a history with Company X. Company X is accused of being involved in a financial scam. You are investigating that alleged scam. So didn't the public deserve to know? These are questions that SEBI chief will have to answer, and quickly too. The government has not stepped in yet. The finance ministry says SEBI will handle the matter. SEBI falls under the finance ministry. But it's already been politicized. The opposition has two demands. They want Madhabi Buch to resign or be fired, and they want a joint parliamentary probe into the Adani case. But let's keep the politics aside for now. Let's just say this. We cannot let emotions cloud this case. Hindenburg clearly has its own motives here. I'm sure they bet a lot of money on Adani collapsing. They wanted this group to crash, but that has not happened. Adani Enterprises were 1.5% down today, but it's 28% up compared to last year. So overall, the market seems to have brushed it off. The Sensex closed just 56 points in the red today, and the Nifty just 20 points. So Hindenburg's bet has not paid off. Plus, they are on SEBI's radar right now. The regulator issued a show-cause notice to Hindenburg last month, so clearly they have their own axe to grind. At the same time, this report is a cause for worry. Many people are calling it a hit job on India. That is a stretch. This is a report against one company in India. So our response must be accordingly, it must be measured. The Indian stock market is the fourth largest in the world. Millions of Indians are invested in it. So transparency and trust are not negotiable, and we shouldn't need a short seller to tell us that. It should be the norm anyway.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for a future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
Today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies.